Those flying monkeys. Do you ever feel unworthy? I know some days I feel like I'm comparing myself to everybody else. I do not feel confident. I am distracted. I feel like I'm less than. Those are the flying monkeys, as our guest Beverly Cornell talks about. So, this is an episode that I think every entrepreneur needs to hear. We're diving into those flying monkeys of distraction, those fears, doubts, perfectionist tendencies that pull us off our path just about when it's time for us to take flight. So, Beverly Cornell is the founder of Wickedly Branded and the creator of the brand magic method, one of the most heart-centered marketing minds we know. So, I'm so excited to bring her on. I first want to say thank you to Dr. Bradley Nelson and iHeartRadio for your sponsorship. And to our listeners, please do not forget to like and subscribe before you go. Beverly, I love this term so much. What is flying monkeys of distraction? Where did this term come from?
Lisa, I am so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. And yes, let's talk about the flying monkeys of distraction. The name
They're
actually comes
everywhere
from the
all the
Wizard of
time.
Oz. Right now, you can visualize them though. This is half the battle: is naming them and visualizing them. This name actually comes from the Wizard of Oz. We're wickedly branded, so we have a lot of wizard and wicked and Dorothy type analogies and metaphors. So if you remember, Dorothy and her friends, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion, were all on a path to find their courage, their hearts, their wisdom, and her home, right? And every time they started to make some progress, those darn flying monkeys showed up, right? And that's what I think fear and doubt feel like to me. Every time you're about to take a super brave step or launch something new or show up as yourself, or gosh, if you actually raise your prices, those
Mm.
monkeys start circling. And I guess for me, when that kind of came to fruition, the monkeys came to fruition was in the really early days of my business when I was in deep burnout and I was working those 80-hour weeks and saying yes to everything and super terrified to even slow down for a second. On the outside, I looked successful, but on the inside, I was drowning. So one
Yeah.
night I was sitting at my desk with around midnight. People who've listened to my podcast know I talk about this moment. My husband and son were asleep, and I was staring at my laptop with those dry eyes, where you don't even blink. Like I was just kind of like
Yeah,
laser
you need like
focused.
toothpicks.
Yeah, or even like in the movies where they have like the thing that goes around the black and white circle. You're so tired, but you just keep going. And I was thinking to myself at that moment, this cannot be it. This cannot be entrepreneurship. This can't be what success actually feels like for people. And that's when I realized I wasn't working on my magic anymore. I was pouring everything into everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Sad
were
thing is, a lot of people still think that entrepreneurship is supposed to be like that.
the hustle. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back in those days, the flying monkeys looked like for me, they were really loud and they kept saying, you can't slow down, you'll lose clients. You're not as good as they think you are. You have to prove yourself.
Mm.
And those voices made me believe that if I wasn't hustling in that hustle culture, that I wasn't worthy somehow. And I thought being this high performer meant doing everything perfectly. But really, in reality, what was actually happening is I was just really spinning in a tornado of overwhelm. Another Oz reference. And here's what I've learned since: those monkeys always, always show up when you're on the edge of growth. They absolutely do not come when you are safe. They've come when you're about to level up.
Mm. Yeah, because suddenly your subconscious is like, ah, we're not safe anymore.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
if you do
subconscious
this
doesn't
thing,
like
you might
change.
fail. And if you do this thing, maybe somebody won't like you. And if you do this thing, it won't be perfect. And like, just stay safe. Just do the work. Don't show up. Don't be visible. Don't make waves. Don't like just do the work, and you'll not have to worry
Mhm.
about any feedback or any failure or any fear. what
Yeah.
what I see is fear and failure. Those are the two places where we grow the most and where we need the most courage, is in those
Do you
two
see those
places.
as bigger monkeys?
Those are really big, big, big monkeys. But they can show up as so fears can show up, and these are my monkeys. So my monkeys are fear, doubt, perfectionism, and imposter syndrome. Those are my monkeys, but they can be overthinking. Those are that rewriting your caption 10 times before you post. That's a monkey. Or procrastination, saying things like, I'll finish after I'll start this thing after I finish this course or this book or this learning, or I'll do this thing once I fix my website. They
Mm,
they're so sneaky, Lisa. They even disguise themselves as things like productivity. Okay, so this is
okay.
like very real for me. When I get overwhelmed, what I do is I try to clean my desk in my office so there's less clutter, right? So then I start organizing things and I create like color coded spreadsheets. But guess what? I never do. I never launch the thing. Like I
Right.
get so bent on organizing instead of doing the thing.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
when I'm procrastinating, all of a sudden I want to clean my entire apartment. Like
yep.
suddenly I'm doing everything but the thing.
But it's you're being productive, Lisa. So you did a good thing. So your monkeys are like, oh, but this is great, Lisa. You did this thing, so you don't have to do that thing now. So they
Yeah.
disguise themselves too as other things. And sometimes they can even sound like comparison. You know, when you scroll through Instagram thinking everyone else has it figured out. I
Mm,
remember very clearly 2 years ago when we were rebranding to Wickedly Branded, when we were going through the process, starting from the new messaging, the new look and feel, the really leaning more into the Oz kind of life, like the metaphors and such. Oh my goodness, the monkeys. They were screaming. They were literally screaming. And I was so scared to show up as myself fully. Not this like super polished agency version and not this corporate trained Beverly, because I have all that experience, but to
yeah.
for the first time to show up as me, the mom, the army wife, the creative who just loves some strategy and sparkle. Like as simple as that. And honestly, there were nights I almost deleted everything and went back to playing safe. Like I was like, no, I can't do this. I don't like panic attack feeling
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
if I change everything, what's going to happen? Will my current clients like it? Will the right clients like it? I should just do what I'm doing because it works and I'm making money. And like the money trap is a huge thing too. That's also a monkey. It gets distracted and sometimes. But I took the chance. I was very brave. I did the thing, but I remember talking to my husband, talking to my assistant, and saying, I don't know, maybe we won't do it. Maybe we shouldn't do it,"
Yeah.
and having a real moment of like existential crisis for this. But this name
How
change
did you
meant
get them to
far.
quiet down? Like, how did
Yeah,
you get the
yeah.
monkeys to buzz off?
It's really hard because in that moment the name change was so significant to me, and I know other consultants and coaches and creatives and female founders and entrepreneurs feel like this, but different ways in their business. For me, my I was named after my grandmother who she's since passed, but she's had some psychological challenges and wasn't a very nice person. And then my last name for a long time was Bradley, and my biological father, wasn't always the best human. He had left us when we were 2 or 3 years old, when I was 2 or 3 years old, and really didn't really show up again in my life in any way, shape, or form to support me or my mom in raising me. And what I learned in all of that is that your name is important, and it comes with something. You know, it comes with energy, it comes with all kinds of things. So my grandmother's name was Beverly. Bradley was my biological name, my birth name, and my stepdad adopted me. I took his name, Cornell. But my name has always been something I've been challenged with. I really never liked it because I think it related to all this other stuff that I was kind of trying to prove I wasn't them, right?
Right.
I wasn't my grandmother who was kind of crazy, and I wasn't my father who wasn't the best person, who was an alcoholic and drank and beat my mother and all kinds of things. So when I for the first time chose this name for my business, it was the first time I chose something that actually made me feel good.
Mm.
And the
What a
trauma
beautiful
of all that
feeling.
other stuff that I had grown up with not on purpose. Like my mom wasn't like your grandmother's a horrible person. Like I think my mom actually
Yeah.
was great. She didn't really try to taint me with anything and let me just experience what was happening with her of my own accord. Like let me understand her as me, not as my mother, who has a very
Mm,
sorted relationship with her. So, but I never felt proud of that.
right.
So when I chose this name, it was like a name that I could finally say was me.
Hmm.
I was finally showing up exactly as me, that authentic, in alignment, mom, army wife, creative soul that loves a good unicorn. Like this is who I am. And when you're 50 and doing that, like you come with some monkeys. You come with some monkeys.
Yeah, that's a
So
big change.
yeah. So I guess before we talk about how do we bat them away and get rid of them, I want to ask the listeners if they're hearing this and thinking that's me. They have their own monkeys related to maybe childhood trauma, things they bring into their work itself, all of it. What are your flying monkeys saying to you right now? And if you're stuck in self doubt or you're stuck in perfectionism, let's talk about what we can do to quiet them. So, the first thing, obviously, is to notice them.
Mm-hmm. What are they? Define them,
What
right?
are
We
they?
need to know what they are.
Name them. And acknowledge when they appear. So now I literally can visualize a monkey appearing in my space. Like I literally can like see it coming out of the peripheral. Up, here it comes. Oh hi, there's perfectionism again.
Oh my God,
Oh
I've been using it too. Every time. Every time. I'm like, oh my God, there's a monkey. Yep,
hi
it's
fear,
sticking
hi
with
fear.
me.
Yeah, you start to really visualize it, and it sounds silly. It sounds so silly, but when you name the monkey, you take away the power.
Totally.
Oh hi fear. Like now it's like you and this happens in therapy. Like this is a legitimate thing when you can have a name for something. So one of the things that my therapist taught me was the Jenga tower of trauma.
Mm.
And she says that's one of your pieces in the trauma tower. And now when I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a piece. And that's why I feel more unstable because I'm removing that piece from my trauma tower. And so when you name it and visualize it, it takes away its power. And then I want you just to like literally with your mind or your hand, and I have done it with my hand. No, not today, fear. It's not happening.
Yeah,
And then the
I
thing that
love
you
it.
need to do then, that's this is the most important part of it. So you name it, you take away its power, you swat it away, and then you take one tiny action against it. So if you're
Mm.
doing the thing, like let's say you're writing a post and you've written it 10 times and you're trying to be perfect and all that, the thing you can do then is just let it go and post it. The fear comes and
Mm.
says, "Don't do it. This is not perfect." Blah blah blah, and it's like in your face, and you're like, "No, I need to do it again. I need to do it again." You know what? Just say, "Not today, fear," and then just post it and let it go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be some big step. It doesn't have to be like this monumental. I'm going to be a different person. No, just take the step forward, as tiny as it is for you. So if you notice yourself like organizing and you're like, oh, this is productivity in disguise, like this is something happening, I'm going to put that off and I'm going to do this thing right now. The hard thing, whatever it is. Do that first. And when I get done with that, then I can do this productivity thing, which is fine, which will make me happy to some degree as well. But do the hard thing and then do it. Post the
Mm.
thing, send the email, write the messy first draft, whatever it is, do the thing because the progress comes from the moving away from the fear, the step away from it. And the more steps you take, Lisa, the less power it will have over you. And the
Yeah.
quicker you can bat them away.
Mm. Even make friends with them.
You can. Actually, they can be really great motivators. You're totally right. You
I
can.
see like a little tiny monkey like on the shoulder being like, yeah, you're good. Like if let's say that's fear, just being like, I love you. Yeah, you can hang out there for a while, but
Yeah.
you're not going to
Yep.
control me.
Yeah. But I feel like they do come back, and maybe not as strong. You never really get rid of them
Mm.
entirely, so they are kind of on the shoulder, but you learn to
Okay.
fly higher with them. you
Okay, so
know,
they're powerful. They're
they're
actually
very
powerful.
powerful. And you can there's so many cliches and like famous quotes and like um work through the fear. um Anything that's worth anything is going to take you courage to be brave and to do the thing, like all these things. I mean, there's just mountains and loads of quotes you've seen on LinkedIn and Instagram and all the places, right, about fear and all these words. um and it really is a thing we all struggle with. Every single it is human to have the flying monkeys. We
It's
all
funny
want to
that we sometimes
belong.
think that, yeah, sometimes I feel like, oh, that person can't struggle with fear. Like they're way too confident. Like I do that all the time, and it's such bullshit. Like every single person on this planet is going through the
Yes,
same types of
yes,
things.
yes. There's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you've ever studied any kind of psychology or
Yes.
things like that, there's this whole hierarchy. And if you don't know it, you should look it up, to my listeners. But it's essentially a pyramid and has like 5 or 6 levels, and one of them is belonging. And so we all have this very deep base root of belonging. And when we get scared and we have perfectionism and imposter syndrome, we fear for our belonging, which becomes a safety issue. Will we have the connections? Will we be liked? Will we be very strong psychological work that's been done around this? And this is a basic human function for safety, to have
Mm.
imposter syndrome and things like that that pop up in our world. I read a statistic once, and it might not be exactly perfect, but it was around 70% of all leaders in businesses have imposter syndrome, male,
Wow.
female. 70% of
Wow.
CEO level, like this is C suite.
Wow.
These are
What
people who
about
are
the
working
other
their butts off.
30%?
Maybe denial.
Yeah, I was
another
gonna say
another flying
that
monkey.
can't be true. That can't be true. Or like narcissism.
Right, exactly. Other psychological challenges. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
so so this is such a base thing for all of us to like work on, and to realize it exists, and that you're not alone in the way, in that these flying monkeys, we all have to bat them away, and we all have to learn to live with them and to push them further away, in the sense of like taking those steps despite the monkey that's there, the monkey on your back,
Yeah,
the monkey on your
exactly.
shoulder.
Understanding what it
Mm-hmm.
is at face value. And I think you hit
Yeah.
the nail on the head, is like defining it and letting it challenge you instead of take you down.
Yes. So there's 5 things that I specifically do to like take myself higher with the thing. So awareness, the naming it, the action. So awareness, action, and then grace. Remembering you can
Mm.
be a work in progress and
Mm.
be a masterpiece at the same time.
Okay, so when I slammed my door the other day, that was graceful. I have to give myself grace.
Yeah,
That makes
you
sense
are a
though, because I'm so hard on ourselves.
masterpiece. You are a masterpiece, and you are perfectly made, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be, but you're also a work in progress at the same time.
I love that.
So grace is huge. That's the thing with grace. And then support. Have mentors and friends and coaches who remind you who you are when you forget who you are.
Mm.
Because we do it. We get so caught up in the hustle and the burnout and everything else, and we're just in the doing and not in the knowing, that we need people to remind us of our magic.
Hmm.
In the
Yeah, we do.
past, we've talked about the testimonials and social proof, and how unexpectedly they turned into my flying monkey serum.
Yeah,
You
literally.
know, having that testimonial bank of people saying that what the work we do matters, that I matter, really helps me remember that this is where I'm supposed to be, despite the fear, despite all of it, that I have the medicine they need. And if I don't do this hard thing, I won't be able to give it to them.
Mm.
So the support is huge. One of my other coaching friends, he does branding as well, and he's great. His name is Jim, and his whole like tagline is he is the brander for the little guy who has to compete with the big guy, essentially.
Mm.
So he's a small part, he's
Which is
small fish.
essentially like everybody these days.
Everybody, right? Right? But like a small retailer who has to compete against an Amazon. Like these are
Right.
people who you have to look bigger than you are, kind of thing, to compete, but still stay who you are in the process. But he has an actual little jar of he calls it badassery, and he puts all the like nice things people say about him in his badassery jar, and he just has to look at his
Nice.
jar and know that I can do this because those people,
Mm.
everybody else believes in me. I am a badass, and this is my power in this.
I
So
love that.
support is huge, and whatever that support looks like, it could be motivational quotes, it could be whatever it works for you. It could be journaling, some self-support in that, journaling through those mindsets. I've done a lot of work with Chat GPT. Like, hey, I have this thing I'm really struggling with. How can I reframe it so that it's a superpower and not a something that is keeping me back?
Mm.
And it's been huge to reframe some
Yeah.
of that. So the support is huge. Whatever you need to do that thing, and with whoever makes you feel better about yourself, that's who you want to hang out with more and do more of, and help you bat away the monkeys as much as possible. And then I think the last thing that's really important, I know the last thing that's really important is systems. When you don't have systems in your business, it creates that tornado and the chaos and the overwhelm and the flying monkey of distraction, because you don't know where to start and stop and all of that. So when you simplify things like your marketing, which is what we help people do at Wickedly Branded, you simplify your marketing, your messaging, your branding, and you simplify your schedule and become more intentional with your time, there's far less room for fear to fester. So
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
those things don't make you fearless, but they help you stay faithful to your magic.
Yeah, otherwise you get caught up in everything. Man, I used to not have any systems and I would wake up every day and I just felt it was like just waking up into overwhelm. You
Yeah.
never know where to start. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
There were so many 3 a.m. wake ups, Lisa, where I was like, if I could just do this thing, then maybe when I start my day in the morning, like at 7 or 8, I won't feel as overwhelmed because I could get this thing done. But that also fed the overwhelm and the chaos and the fear, and the even the hormones, right? Like the flight or fight hormones that you're having in your body that create anxiety and depression and all those things. So when you can tamper all that down a little bit with systems and support and understanding your magic, it becomes a very different experience for your business. And honestly, once I fixed this in my business, I became a much better mom and a wife and a friend and a daughter, because I wasn't so stressed out all the time in my personal life either.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you used like fear? Has fear taught you anything about your own purpose?
Yeah, because when I was scared and when I was making all the safe decisions in this need to stay hustling and burnt out to be successful, I learned how unhealthy it was. And I learned that it's in every one of us. And when I work with every single one of my clients, Lisa, it's one of the first things we talk about.
Hmm.
It's the things like what's holding you back from growing. You have a wonderful vision for your business. Who you are and how you serve is amazing. Your passion and purpose is so beautiful. What's been the biggest challenge? What's holding you back? And they'll talk about, well, like, I don't know. I mean, there's other people who are doing these things. They seem to be doing it better. And, like all of a sudden start to come out imposter syndrome, comparison trap. Oh, I feel like I need to get my doctorate first, or I need to write a book first. Like all these things start happening that you're putting these limitations on you to grow. And it's like I see it, and like it's the should suitcase, which we talk about too, and other episodes. The should suitcase is very full of all the things you're supposed to do in this life, and it's heavy, and fear and doubt and perfectionism and imposter syndrome like to add things to the should suitcase to keep it heavier so you don't move. And so what I learned when I started putting away the should suitcase, moving it out, setting it down, and I learned the freedom of that. And once you kind of get a taste of it, you don't really want to ever go back to that if you can help it. It takes a little bit of work every day, every day, especially when I'm about to do something new, like launch a new offer or share something personal or get on a podcast like this. The
Mm.
difference now is I don't let the fear drive my decisions.
Mm.
I look at where it's coming from. Now that I have a name, look where it's coming from. What is it really trying to do? And then I determine what's my best next step. And most times it's just the action of doing the thing, not perfectly, because I'm a recovering perfectionist, and realizing that it still is powerful for people. So I might not be saying everything perfectly here today on this podcast, but I still believe my message and what I have to share and my story is powerful. So even though I'm not the most eloquent speaker or the best, I'm not an Oprah, even though I love Oprah and I think I'm in my Oprah era, but I know what I have to say is important and that people will connect and it may help people. And that's the thing. I cannot stop doing something because I know it's going to help someone. And if I don't share it, it's like I'm preventing somebody else from getting that magic. And that seems really greedy and stingy to me and so counterintuitive to who I am as a person because I'm a servant heart and all those things. So the fear has been actually an impetus to not have the fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And I love that because your message is meant for the people that it's meant to be heard by. And so the right people are going to hear the message from you.
Mm-hmm.
They may hear the same thing from me, but it's not going to resonate because they needed to hear it from you. And
Absolutely.
there's no shortage of people in the world. And so I think that's one of the things that I needed to remind myself when I got into business is that there is millions of people out there, millions. There's a huge pool to draw from. So when I'm comparing myself to other people on social media and I'm falling into those flying monkey traps, as you call them, um, I remind myself that, they have their own pool, I have my own pool, and we all have different missions in life.
Yes. And even if it's 100 people, Lisa,
Yeah,
that's a pretty amazing ripple effect because maybe they're going to raise their child not to bat away the monkeys, or maybe they're going to help mentor a team member not to have the monkeys, or like you just don't know the magic of your ripple in the community. And if you never say the thing or never do the thing, that never may happen, that will never happen. And that's really sad that it doesn't
yeah, it
happen.
is. I
It
think
doesn't
people get stuck
happen.
in the numbers. People get stuck in the numbers. Like I would even argue that one person is affected by it. The ripple effect could be huge.
Yes,
Um,
right, right,
but I
right.
even get stuck in the numbers because I'm like, I want to hire this person, and then I check them out, and I don't want people judging me based on my numbers. I think we got to get away from
Mm.
the numbers game.
I just feel like it needs to be a simple number, like in the sense of maybe it's 10, maybe it's one, whatever it is for you. But I know
Yeah,
that I could have a very successful business with 100 people.
right.
So that's how I kind of equate it from that logic. So podcasting is perfect because if I can talk to somebody in the car or when they're cleaning their house or in the shower, I listen to podcasts all the time in the shower. Then I can create a relationship with them that may help them at some point.
Yeah,
They have more confidence, maybe do the action that they've been kind of putting off because of the flying monkeys. It's incredibly important work. And I had somebody, and this is really for the listeners, just my personal request, I guess, or plea. I had somebody once send me a post on LinkedIn about something I had said about confidence. And this was a few months ago, and tagged me on it and said, it's changed my life. And I did the thing that
wow,
I didn't know I could do, and it was successful. And
wow.
that tampers my flying monkeys, right? So if you listen to a podcaster that you love and has helped you in some way, if you listen to people's voices and their advice and their sharing their stories with you on any podcast, not just this one, but on any podcast, reach out to them or tag them on LinkedIn and let them know they've affected you in some way, because you are helping them bat away their own flying monkeys to continue to do the work that they're supposed to be doing in this world. So give them that gift, because it matters. That's supporting them in a way you will never possibly understand until someone does it for you. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that's like gold, because it just is so powerful and affirming my purpose. So give that gift and give it freely, because it's just very, very powerful goodness you can put in the world right now, today, very easily and quickly, to help people do more things to help others in the way that it's helped you, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, this has been a very incredible conversation. What would you say to the entrepreneurs listening out there who are battling their own flying monkeys?
They're not the enemy, they're the teachers. They're your teachers. Fear shows up when shows you what matters most to you. When you have fear, it's showing you what really matters. Doubt shows you when you need clarity. So if you're doubting yourself or doubting your message or doubting your website, it means you just need to have a clearer message. Perfectionism shows up when you crave control. So if the world feels a little out of control, your house feels a little out of control, or the life or your business feels out of control, perfectionism is the thing that shows up when you crave control. So how can you create a system to help you in those times? Imposter syndrome shows you that you're stretching, that you're going beyond what you thought was even possible for yourself. And if you can listen instead of battle, you can ask, what are you trying to teach me today? And the answer is often something like, you care, you're growing, and you're ready. So that fear can become your fuel to push past the barriers of what you think is even possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all of a sudden picturing all these monkeys in cages right
Yes.
now.
I don't know about a cage, but I maybe like on a leash. Maybe on a leash. So instead of trying to slay them, learn from them. I journal about mine all the time. I literally name them: the fear, doubt, perfectionism, imposter. So if you have one that's, maybe it is like productivity, maybe it is whatever it is, name them and write down what they're saying to you, and then write or seek evidence to prove them wrong. So that's the testimonials and support and the badassery jar, whatever you need to remind yourself of that magic. That's going to be your most important thing. And just, like, if you feel the monkeys come and take a breath, ground yourself, maybe walk away from your desk, give yourself a minute, and then just know that you're not the only person that's feeling this. This is a human psychological feeling of belonging that you're in the middle of. It's part of being a human that cares. And I'll be a human that cares all day long and deal with the flying monkeys than be somebody who doesn't care, or maybe a narcissist or something else that is not very
Yeah.
healthy. So sign me up for the human that cares. And every single person who's ever done something meaningful has felt the same fear as you're feeling. So start with awareness, name your monkeys, take that small step, and that's how you're going to reclaim your confidence in this.
For those ready to take the next step, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and where they can find you?
Sure. Lisa, I have a brand magic method. That's my proprietary system at Wickedly Branded. We start with awakening your magic. It's a 90-minute deep dive into where you've been, where you are, where you want to go, the challenges you're facing. And then we provide a blueprint for you for the next best 4 to 6 opportunities that are going to get you to where you want to go in that blueprint. It gives you so much clarity, so much confidence, and a ton of momentum of what is possible for your business. And then once we awaken your magic, we ignite it with, updated branding, new branding, messaging, websites, whatever you need to like visually show your magic for to make it feel like it did when it was possible. So we actually bring it to life, is what we do. And then we, once we do that, we activate it, which means we, not activate it. Once we activate it, we actually then blaze it. So this is the amplification part of things. Once you have all the systems in place and everything ready, then you want to be consistent and persistent in how you show up in the world. So whether that's social media or email marketing, updating your blogs, things like that, we do that for you, helping you with podcast guesting, things like that. And then the last thing is we do systems, the automations to help you with, custom chat GPTs for your voice. We can create Canva brand kits with templates. We give you some content calendars, a social media matrix, and some repurposing tools to be able to make it as simple and systemized as possible and far less chaotic. So you know exactly what we're supposed to do, how to make the content, go further. And so you're not spinning your wheels and just doing the next thing and not knowing what is the right thing to do. But we also have a clarity quiz on our website. If you go to wickedlybranded.com, you can take the quiz and it'll give you some actionable steps right then and there today to maybe push you forward on an area that you need a little extra push on because you have some flying monkeys that have distracted you away from your magic.
And where can they find us? Can you repeat the
So
website?
wickedlybranded.com, or you can check, come and chat with me at on LinkedIn at Beverly Cornell. But wickedly branded on any social site is us, and then wickedlybranded.com. You can find all about our services. The clarity quiz is there. There's a ton of resources. I have my own podcast called Wickedly Branded, which is marketing magic and the messy middle, which I'd love for you to check out as well. Lots of great interviews there and tips on marketing and branding as well.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing your story and for reminding us all that we all have these flying monkeys. Like all of us can relate to that. And it's not just a we thing. I know when I'm distracted by the monkeys, I feel so alone and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm the only one. And it's really important to remember, as you did so brilliantly today, you reminded us that we all have the monkeys surrounding us all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just how you approach it. Is it a battle or is it something to learn from and to get to know and to encourage you to continue? But the biggest thing, Lisa, is I love humans who care, and humans who care are the ones that are battling these. And that if we can live in our, I said it earlier, our masterpiece of who we are, but also in what we are becoming, then the monkeys can help us get to be in a greater sense and greater state of progress as a human. And I think the world would be better for if everybody kind of faced it that way. So
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been so much
thank you,
fun.
Lisa. I appreciate it. I always love spending time with you.
Yes, me too. Do you have any last minute thoughts before we go?
No, I want you all to start naming those monkeys and taking those steps forward. And if you do, reach out to me and let me know which monkeys you're facing so I can cheer you on and support you in your journey.
Amazing. Thank you. And thank you to our audience for tuning in. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And just remember, we're all going through this. So talk about it. Um, maybe not cage those monkeys, like Beverly said, but put them on a leash and befriend them and get to know
Yeah.
them. You're going to learn a lot from those monkeys, even though they can seem really scary at times. Take care, everyone.